Ask any Modern Family fan who they love and who they can't stand, and you'll get the same answers every single time. They love Phil. They love Gloria. They love sweet, dumb Luke. And then they roll their eyes at Claire. They're exhausted by Mitchell, and a solid half of them physically wince every time Dylan wanders on screen. We've all quietly agreed on this ranking. The lovable ones over here, the annoying ones over there. But what if I told you the show ran a con on you? A real one. That the characters you hate the most are the ones actually holding that family together, and the characters you love the most are the ones quietly doing the damage. You didn't rank these people by who's good or who's kind or who's carrying the weight. You rank them by who's fun to watch, and those are not the same list. They're not even in the same universe. Today, we're discussing the most hated and the most loved characters in Modern Family. And here's the thing most people miss. It's the exact same trick running in both directions. They adore the ones who entertain them and resent the ones who keep the lights on. And by the end of this video, I think you're going to feel a little guilty about your own list. Let's start at the bottom of the one you love to hate. Number 4. On the hate list, Dylan. Hayley's spacey, perpetually shirtless, going absolutely nowhere boyfriend. For years, he was the fandom's favourite punching bag. The himbo, the dropout, the guy who wrote that earnest, painfully sincere love song and performed it to a horrified living room full of Dunphys. Everyone in that room cringed. Everyone watching cringed. And that became Dylan, the joke who won't leave. But watch him for 1 second longer than the laugh track wants you to. Dylan is genuinely the single kindest adult in the entire series. No agenda, no scheme, no score he's trying to settle. In a family where every member is constantly competing, managing, one-upping and keeping receipts on each other, Dylan is the only person in the room who just loves people, out loud without conditions. He adores Hayley through years of her being embarrassed by him. He's gentle with Luke. He's sweet to people who are openly rude to him. And what does the show eventually do with him? It makes him a nurse, a caretaker, the guy whose whole job is showing up tenderly for people in their worst moments. That was always who he was. We called him stupid because he was sincere, and in that family, sincerity gets read as weakness. Dylan isn't the dummy of the show. He's the only one not playing the game everyone else is too proud to admit they're playing. Number 3, Dee Dee. Claire and Mitchell's mother, Jay's ex-wife, the human chaos bomb who detonates in the middle of every wedding, every holiday, every event she is unwisely invited to. She crashes Jay and Gloria's wedding. She turns a calm room into a crisis on contact. Everyone hates Dee Dee, and honestly, fair, she is exhausting to be around. But here's what she actually is in the architecture of this show. Dee Dee is the warning label. She is the living, breathing reason Claire grew up into a woman who white-knuckles every single thing in her life. You want to know why Claire needs to control the thermostat, the schedule, the seating chart, the emotional temperature of every room. Look at the mother she was raised by. A woman whose moods ran the household like weather, unpredictable and impossible to plan around. Claire overcorrected into a fortress of control, and Mitchell overcorrected into a knot of anxiety. Both of those kids are reactions to this one woman, so you don't actually get to hate Dee Dee and find Claire annoying and find Mitchell exhausting, because Dee Dee is the source code for both of them. And when the show finally lets her go, late in the series, you realise the chaos was never random. It was a person in pain, and her kids spent their whole lives organising themselves around the damage. Number 2, Mitchell, the uptight one. The fussy, anxious, tightly wound lawyer that a huge chunk of the fan base will openly tell you is the most irritating person in the show. The less fun half of Mitch and Cam, the buzzkill, the flincher. But here is the truth almost nobody gives him. Mitchell is the most self-aware character in that entire family. He's the only one who actually knows they're all dysfunctional, and worse, he says it out loud. He's neurotic for a reason. He's the one paying attention. Everyone else gets to coast through life on a big, comfortable personality. Mitchell sits in the corner, flinching at the things no one else has the nerve to notice. Watch his fights with Cam, strip away the bickering, and what you're really seeing is Mitchell desperately trying to drag a little reality into a relationship with a man who turns everything into a Broadway production. He's not difficult because he's a killjoy. He's difficult because he's the only one keeping score of what's actually true. We don't hate Mitchell because he's annoying. We hate him because he's the mirror, and nobody enjoys the family member who reflects the whole family back at it. And the number one most hated character in Modern Family, Claire. The control freak, the fun police. The mom the entire internet agrees just needs to relax and have a glass of wine. Which, by the way, she does, and we made that a punchline too. I've made the full case for Claire before, so I'll keep it tight here. Claire is the spine of that family. She is the load-bearing wall. She's the one who remembers the appointments, runs the company, organises the holidays down to the minute, and says the word no so that anybody is enforcing reality while everyone else gets to be a fun little character. And the one time she reaches for something that's actually hers, when she walks into her father's company and runs it sharper than he ever did, when she runs for local office because she needs to matter somewhere beyond that kitchen. The family treats it like an adorable little phase, and the world hands her a loss and sends her right back inside. The spine doesn't get a thank you, it gets told to sit down. Pull Claire out of that house and the whole thing collapses inside a week. And we resent her for exactly one reason. She's the one who can't relax. Because if she relaxes, who is holding it? The most hated woman in this family is the single most essential person in it, and that is the cruelest law of any family. Nobody ever thanks the wall for holding up the roof. They only notice it when it cracks, so that's your hate list. 4 people doing the realest work in the show. Now flip the whole thing over because the love list is hiding something much darker. The most loved number 4, most loved, Luke. The lovable idiot, Phil's goofy little sidekick, the comic relief, the kid who got his head stuck in the banister and asked if dogs could look up. Everyone's favourite sweet dummy. And here is the quiet tragedy buried in him. Luke got to stay a child far, far longer than he ever should have because the family needed him to be the baby, the joke, the easy laugh. And every so often the show slips and shows you something else. Luke being unexpectedly perceptive, weirdly wise, emotionally sharp in a way that should have changed how everyone treated him. And then it snaps right back because the family had already cast him. While Alex was quietly drowning under the weight of being the smart one, Luke was allowed to coast forever on being adorable. And nobody, not Phil, not Claire, ever really pushed him to become more than the punchline. We love Luke so much exactly as he is that we never asked who he could have been. Being everyone's favourite kid turned out to be its own kind of cage. A soft one, but a cage. Number 3, Gloria. One of the most beloved characters in modern television, full stop. Fierce, hilarious, loyal to the bone, iconic enough to define an entire show. Everybody loves Gloria. Now watch how that family actually treats her. Her accent is a running punchline. The mispronunciations, the gravy versus grave, the whole bit where the joke is simply that she talks funny. Her intelligence gets laughed off as loud emotion. And here's the thing. Gloria is demonstrably one of the sharpest and most strategic people in any room she walks into. She reads people instantly. She plays the long game better than Jay does. And there's that one moment the show is brave enough to give her, where she finally snaps and tells them all that, in her own language, she is witty, she is intelligent, she is funny, and in English, she comes across as some crazy woman with a thick accent. That line should stop the whole show cold, because it's the truth about how everyone, including the audience, treats her. We adored Gloria and we underestimated her in the very same breath for 11 years, and we called it love. Number 2, Manny, the old soul, the little poet, everyone's favourite precocious romantic, writing love letters and mixing cocktails and dispensing wisdom about heartbreak before he's old enough to drive. And here's what nobody wants to say about Manny. He never actually got to be a kid. He's mature beyond his years because he had to be. Think about where he starts, the only child of a young single mother in a new country, the little man of the house long before Jay ever showed up. So he became the emotional adult, the one who comforts Gloria, who counsels the grown-ups around him on their messy love lives, who carries himself like a tiny 60-year-old because somebody in his life needed him to be steady. And the family claps for it. They think it's charming. They think it's adorable that this child acts like a wise old man. But sit with what that actually is. A kid who skipped his own childhood to hold up the adults around him and got applause instead of a rescue. We didn't love Manny for being a child. We loved him for not getting to be one. And the number one most loved character in all of Modern Family, Phil Dunphy. The man the entire audience adores. The fun dad, the heart of the show, the golden retriever in a polo shirt. If you polled the planet, Phil wins this in a landslide. And I'll say it as plainly as I said it in his own video. Phil is the loneliest person in that house. He performs joy for a living. The magic tricks, the cheerleading routines, the philosophy. That's not just personality, that's a man working constantly to earn his place by being delightful. He absorbs everyone's bad days with a grin. He spends 11 seasons begging his father-in-law for a scrap of approval that almost never comes. And in all that time, surrounded by a family that genuinely loves him, not one person ever stops to ask if Phil is okay. Because why would you check on the fireplace? We love Phil the exact way you love a fireplace, for the warmth he throws off, never for the thing burning underneath to make it. And there it is. That's the con. Look at what your two lists actually have in common. The most hated characters, Claire, Mitchell, Dylan, even Dee Dee, are the ones doing the real invisible work, holding the structure up, telling the truth, loving without an angle, absorbing the damage. And the most loved characters, Phil, Gloria, Manny, Luke, are every single one of them performing for the family's benefit and paying a private cost so everyone else gets to feel good. One list maintains the family, the other list entertains it, and we handed our love almost unanimously to the second one. It's not a coincidence, it's not comedy, it's a pattern, and once you see it, you cannot turn it off. We give our affection to the people who perform for us, and our resentment to the people who carry us. And look, the show literally married the two extremes to each other. Phil and Claire. The most loved and the most hated. The warmth everyone adores, and the wall everyone resents. Sharing a bed, raising 3 kids, one of them keeping the family fun, and the other keeping it alive. That's not an accident. That's the thesis of the entire show, hiding in plain sight inside its central couple. And it isn't only them. Look one house over at Mitchell and Cam. Same circuit, different wiring. The anxious one everybody finds difficult is the one quietly dragging the marriage back to reality. And the theatrical one everybody finds delightful is the one turning an ordinary Tuesday into a 3-act emotional production that somebody else has to clean up after. The family loves the show Cam puts on and sighs at Mitchell for flinching. Same pattern, different couple. Modern Family keeps drawing you the exact same picture over and over and trusting that you won't catch it because you're always too busy enjoying the fun one to go check on the steady one. That's the dark genius of Modern Family. It didn't just show you a dysfunctional family, it trained you to feel exactly the way that family feels, to adore the performers and roll your eyes at the load-bearing ones. You didn't watch the dysfunction from the outside. You joined it. You rank these people by the same broken scale the Pritchett's use, and you never once noticed you were doing it. So, go back and watch any big group scene now with all of this in your head. Watch who's making everyone laugh. Then, watch who's quietly making sure the day doesn't fall apart. They are almost never the same person. And the show gently, episode after episode, taught you to prefer the first one and overlook the second. Here's what I genuinely can't stop thinking about. This is your family too. There's a Phil in your life you adore who is quietly exhausted. There's a Claire you find difficult who is the only reason the holidays happen at all. There's a Dylan you write off who is the kindest person at the table. And a Manny who grew up too fast and got praised for it instead of protected. We love the fun ones, and we lean on the steady ones, and we almost never aim those two feelings at the people who actually earned them. And the people doing the carrying rarely say a word about it because the whole reason they're good at carrying is that they learned, somewhere a long time ago, not to ask to be carried back. So they just keep holding the roof up and watching everyone give the standing ovation to the person telling jokes underneath it. Maybe this week you give the quiet one the credit instead. Maybe you say the thank you the show never once let Claire hear. So I need your comments on this one because I know you've got strong opinions and I want to hear them. Tell me who you love most and who you cannot stand in this family. And then, be honest, did I just change your mind on a single one of them? I read every comment. And if you want the full breakdown, I've already gone deep on why Phil is the loneliest man in the house and why Claire was never the villain you think she was. Go watch those two next in that order. Pull up a chair and subscribe. Stay with me at the table. We are nowhere near done with these people. See you in the next one.